Hey guys, what's going on? So, with the Super Bowl coming up, I thought I would break down the two teams between each player, compare each player, and then I'll kind of decide which side has the better player or category. So, the way I'm going to break it down, the categories include quarterback, running back, or overall rushing game, tight end, wide receivers, offensive line. And then we'll go kicker, we'll go overall offense as another separate category. And then we'll go overall defense, and then specifically the defensive linemen or tackles, the front four. And then the secondary, this is linebackers, cornerback, safeties. And then coaching, and then 11 being special teams, and then 12 kind of a bonus category I'm implementing here, which is experience. So first off, quarterback, both pretty good regular season. I'd say Purdy had a little bit better of a season, 12-5 record versus 11-6. Better statistics, better quarterback rating for the regular season. But I'd say Mahomes is looking a little bit better in the postseason so far. He has more overall yards in the postseason, no interceptions, and 2 more touchdowns than Purdy does. But this is all taken in context because he has had an extra game being the wild card. But I'd still say Mahomes, also due to his experience being in the Super Bowl so much. Purdy's only in his second season. The interception recently against the Lions is one of those kind of second-year rookie mistakes, I'd say. So I'd give the edge to Mahomes here, but it's pretty close. And then for rushing, Pacheco and McCaffrey. McCaffrey is the best running back in the league, hands down. But Pacheco has looked pretty good in the playoffs. Again, Pacheco has more yards here in the playoffs. This is also due to an extra game. But I'd say Pacheco probably does have the edge for how he's looking recently in the playoffs. But McCaffrey is the leader right now in rushing touchdowns for the playoffs. I think he's looked really good in the red zone. And then even if you look at some of the backups with Elijah Mitchell, and then even Kyle Juszczyk, who's a really good player to come in there every so often. The Chiefs don't have a fullback. I think they kind of just took it off of their roster. But they do have Clyde Edwards-Helaire as their backup, which is pretty good. But I just think the 49ers, with all that they offer, especially with mainly McCaffrey, takes the edge here for the running back or the rushing game. Next up, tight end. Kelce and Kittle, I'd say they're about even in terms of overall ability and strength for the position. Kelce has looked really good in the postseason so far. Again, the Chiefs have had an extra game. His stats in the playoffs are a little bit skewed here because the Chiefs don't have as many options for receivers as the 49ers do. So that's why I think Kittle's performance here is hindered a little bit. He did have a drop pass against the Packers, but that usually doesn't happen. So for this category, pretty even regular season stats, I'd say. I'd probably give this a tie just because they're both exceptional players. Next up, I'm just going to put all the wide receivers in the same category. The 49ers, I think, obviously take it here. Chiefs have found some room to run with Rice. I think they had a lot of receiver problems in the regular season, but also have Watson and Valdez-Scantling. But the 49ers just have really more depth here with the dual threat of Samuel and Ayuk. Just really no comparison here. And then you also have Jennings, who can make some really good plays as well. So this is a pretty easy win for the 49ers. Next, we're going to go offensive line. Pretty close here again, too. I'd probably give the edge, though, to the Chiefs. They have 2 of their offensive linemen in the Pro Bowl this year. 49ers only have Trent Williams. And then I think when you look at overall sacks for the season, pretty close, but Purdy was sacked 28 times this year, and Mahomes was sacked 27. Even though this is really close, Purdy has got sacked 1 more time. Plus, if you take into account that Purdy didn't play the last game of the season, that might have even been a little bit higher against the Rams. And then if you look at another statistic, the average time to throw, this year Patrick Mahomes had an average of 2.84 seconds to throw the ball, with Purdy having just 2.55. So Mahomes does show to have a little bit more time here with the ball, but again, this statistic is a little bit skewed because you may have some differences as maybe Purdy just gets rid of the ball sooner. It's not necessarily the offensive line, but I'm still giving the edge to the Chiefs here. I just think they have a little bit stronger 5 up there. Next, we'll go to the kicker. Pretty heavy advantage here for the Chiefs. You have Butler, who has made 94.3% of his field goals in the regular season and 100% of his field goals in the postseason, compared to Moody, who's made just 84% of overall field goals in the regular season with 60% in the postseason. This is really 3 out of 5, but still a hard statistic to ignore here. You may argue the 49ers kick more field goals than the Chiefs, but I still think these statistics don't lie. Chiefs have the better kicker here, better advantage here. Overall offense, I would give to the 49ers just a lot better diversity in terms of their overall talent, their weapons, the things they have to offer. And then if we just look at some offensive statistics, you have 491 total points for the 49ers with just 371 for the Chiefs. But I think the Chiefs have more total yards, but I'd still probably give the edge to the 49ers. And then if we go to overall defense, I think this is a pretty hard comparison here. I think on paper, the 49ers have the much better defense, but I think the Chiefs defense does have some pretty good statistics for both the regular season, and I think you can't deny how well the defense is playing in the playoffs, giving up just 7 points to the Dolphins in the wild card game, giving up just 10 points to the Ravens. I think that's really incredible, and then giving up 24 points to the Bills. And if you look at some statistics here, the Chiefs, for playing an extra game in the playoffs, have only given up 41 total points. 49ers have given up 52 total points. So you have the 49ers giving up more points than the Chiefs, 11 here to be exact, with playing one less game. So I think the Chiefs defense is looking a lot better. They came in second for sacks. They had 57 sacks this year. 49ers only had 48, but pretty low interceptions, only 8. 49ers had 22. 15 forced fumbles from the Chiefs, 10 from the 49ers. 49ers gave up less yards overall, but the Chiefs gave up less total points in the season at 274, 49ers at 292. I'd probably say the overall defense, really considering the postseason and some of these statistics, I'd say they're about a tie right now. But when you look at the defensive linemen or the defensive tackles, I think the edge would go to San Francisco. You have Nick Bosa in the Pro Bowl. You have Hargrave in the Pro Bowl. The Chiefs only have Jones, one of their defensive linemen, making it to the Pro Bowl. So I think just a slight edge here to the 49ers. I would like to see them have some more sacks. And I think Eric Armstead is a pretty good defensive lineman too. I don't know what's going to happen with Chase Young. There's some rumors that he might get benched. That might be their weak point here, but I think the edge, again, goes to San Francisco. I'd say the secondaries, being the linebackers, cornerbacks, safeties, would also go to San Francisco with Trivarius Ward. Fred Warner, one of the best middle linebackers in the league. Both of them also made it to the Pro Bowl. Greenlaw is also exceptional. You see the high amount of interceptions here being probably one of the leading factors of this. No one from the Chiefs secondary made it to the Pro Bowl. I just think the Chiefs overall defense is good. Maybe it's some of their strategy. Maybe it's just how they play together. But specifically, secondary would go to the 49ers. And then in terms of coaching, Andy Reid versus Shanahan, I think Reid takes this. With what he's done with the Chiefs in the past 5 years is really incredible. Also, I think has a better track record than Shanahan in terms of the Super Bowl. I think Reid just has a better overall strategy, better overall play calling. 49ers have a good defensive coordinator with Steve Wilks. I just haven't been too impressed with him by how the 49ers defense have looked in the playoffs. And then defensive coordinator for the Chiefs, I think he's a little bit better. And so obviously I'd give the coaching category to the Chiefs. And then special teams, I'd give a slight edge to the 49ers here. They have probably double the amount of kick return yards than the Chiefs do with McLeod. Pretty similar in terms of punt returns. I'd give experience, obviously, to the Chiefs. I think they have a lot of the same players as they did last year, and they won the Super Bowl. They've been in the Super Bowl so much recently versus the 49ers, who've only been in it in 2020. So I think they're just going to have much more experience playing in the Super Bowl recently. The 49ers, though, have been in the playoffs a lot recently, too, just not necessarily the Super Bowl.
That would put us at a 6-5 win for the 49ers. But if you take out like special teams, which is kind of not as important on the game, still a significant factor, you'd have a 5-5 tie here. So I think it's going to be a really close game. I think it's a toss-up for who is going to win. But let me know how you guys think the two teams stack up against each other. Who you guys think is going to win in the Super Bowl. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you later.